Good evening, everybody. I hope you're doing well. I am so excited to be on here with you guys live. And tonight I'm going to be sharing a little bit about what I do as a health and fitness coach, or as some people call it, a lifestyle coach with Beachbody. And I'll be sharing with you guys some of the common things that I hear, some of the common questions that people have, and hopefully address some of those fears and concerns and get you a little bit more excited about the upcoming opportunity. So before I go into too much more detail, I wanted to share with you just a little bit about my background because I feel like that's really important. So I have actually been a coach now. I'm a grandma coach. So I have been around for almost 5 years. I'm going to be celebrating my 5-year anniversary in March, which is so crazy. And it's so funny because if you would have asked me 5 years ago what this role was going to be in my life, I would have said it wasn't going to be a part of my life because I didn't want to be a coach, right? I wasn't looking for this, but somehow this opportunity crossed my path and it has forever changed my world. So 5 years ago, I joined Beachbody as a client, like most of you are probably doing. So most of you are probably saying, I don't want to be a coach. I just want to be a client. I just want to get results, but I don't want to do what they do. That's what I said. And so I joined because I couldn't get results on my own. I kept trying to get results with insanity. My husband and I had the DVDs, and we would have great intentions, and by the middle of the week, we would be back to ordering pizza, not working out, and not getting results. Because what I learned was that it's actually really easy to buy workout DVDs, but it's really, really hard to do them if you don't have a coach to hold you accountable. So I watched my own coach for several months. I was like, oh my goodness, what is she doing? Like, she has this motivation that I don't have. And she's showing up for herself in spite of all the other things that she had going on. And so I was very intrigued and I watched her for a long time. And then finally, when my son turned 2 years old, it was the night of his second birthday. I remember lying in bed and being like, you can't keep up the way you're going. You cannot continue to just treat your body the way that you are. I was stressed. I was tired. I was living off Starbucks drive-through. I was not making time for myself. I would make a to-do list every single day and I would load it like so packed full. But on that list, there was never, ever a workout, never time to like meal prep, never time to just de-stress or to take care of myself. I was drowning in the season of new mom life. And so when I finally made this decision, I went all in and I was like, if you're going to spend the money on this, you're going to get the results. So I remember showing up for those 30 days and literally like in that first month of my challenge group, my whole world changed. My perspective changed. I started to feel good again. I started to come out of that funk. If you've ever had children, and especially your first, you know that motherhood can take its toll on you. And it can put you in a season where you're not your top priority. And that had very much happened to me. So coaching came along, and I was, like I said, I was a client first. But then because I started to love it so much, I was sharing it with everybody who would listen. And my coach was like, you'd be kind of good at this too. And the teacher in me, because that's what I was a 9th through 12th grade business education teacher. I was like, you know what? I really do like this. It's like being in a class. Like there's people here, we're checking in with each other, we're staying motivated, and I loved it. And so I did. I took a chance on something that I never thought I would. So I signed up to be a coach after my first challenge group. So I was a challenger for February, and then March was when I started actually actively coaching. I ran this business as a side gig. I called it my side hustle. And I really didn't hustle much in the beginning, to be honest with you. It took until that summer for me to realize how much I loved the business. And so I started to, what I like to call, build the business after bedtime. So even though my plate was already full. So for example, I had a 2-year-old. My husband was traveling a lot for work, and he would have really long days. I was teaching full time. I had like 6 different preps, which as a teacher, that's craziness. So I was teaching a lot of different classes, and I had a lot of students. I was finishing my master's degree at Penn State in educational leadership because I thought I wanted to become a principal, and I was just drowning. So to say, like to the thought of saying, oh, why don't you add another career, or why don't you do a side hustle, seemed absurd. It seemed totally crazy, but I did it anyways because I felt like I was being called to do it. So, anyways, I continued to work my business in the pockets of the day that weren't already taken. So, not during dinner time, not during mom life, not during my full time job while I was being a teacher. Like, I did this on the side. But what I found was that it brought me joy and it brought me passion that I didn't see in the other pockets of my life. Like, there was something missing in my other job that this was now fulfilling. So, I just really enjoyed it. And honestly, in the beginning, like it was so I could pay for my Shakeology because I was a teacher. So I was on a teacher's budget. So Shakeology was kind of like a little bit out of reach for me. And so at first, that was the goal, was to just pay for product. And then after, what started to happen was it wasn't just paying for product, it was paying for things like my groceries. And then down the road, it was paying for things like the car payment or daycare, or eventually it actually got me to the point that I actually am not a teacher anymore. I am a full time work from home mom. I do coaching full time, and I have since quote unquote retired. I retired at 29 years old. I'm now 32. And it's just been an absolute blessing. And my life wouldn't look this way if it weren't for coaching. Now, I always have to give the income disclaimer when I talk about things like that. The Beachbody doesn't guarantee your income. It's based off of your skill, diligence, and effort. And I know that sounded like a total line from a legal clip, and that's because it is. Okay. My success doesn't necessarily mean that you will have success. And my coach, she didn't have success because of her coach is success. We all have had the success we've seen in this business because we were relentless and we showed up and we were really hard workers. So if you're watching this and you're like, she's going to promise me I can leave my job in 2 years, I can't promise you any of that, but I can promise you that I did it and I can show you how. But you have to do your own thing and you have to work really hard. So for some of you, that's not the goal. And you're not coming at me to leave full time jobs or to pay the mortgage, but some of you are coming at me because you need help, right? You need extra accountability. You could use the income. Maybe it would be nice to have your groceries paid for or your kids' daycare. Like, I don't know what you need, but I know that some of you really need this opportunity. So I just wanted to share that. So, anyways, that's a little bit about me as far as like my background. So again, now I'm a full-time coach. I'm used to be a teacher. I've been in the business for 5 years. The program that I started with was the 21 Day Fix. And I can proudly, like loud and proud, say that since becoming a coach, I have done every program that's come out in the last 5 years with Beachbody. Like, that's huge. And this is coming from the girl who couldn't finish Insanity because she couldn't show up for a few days to do her DVDs. So I'm really proud of that. I love being able to work out from home because I am not in a season of life right now that affords me to be able to go to a gym or to go to classes. So I'm grateful. So life has really brought me to a different space now. You can't see this, but I actually am expecting right now, so I have a nice big belly. I'm about 30 weeks pregnant at this point, and I also have another daughter, Grace, who is 18 months old. No, not 18 months. Sorry, I'm thinking of something else, but she's almost 2, and my life is so blessed and so crazy. And we have our son Carter, who I told you when I joined, he was 2 years old, and now he's going to be 7 next week. So my life is really different than it used to be, but I'm so grateful. So what I wanted to talk about tonight were a couple things to consider. I'm going to address a couple questions that most of you probably are thinking and maybe haven't said out loud, or just haven't really approached yet. So the first question that a lot of people ask me is, where do you start? How do you get started as a coach so that you aren't necessarily out there selling, more so that you just like are good at this and you're sharing? So the answer to that is that you pick a program and you commit to it. You don't just pick a program and say, I'm going to do a couple of the workouts and I'm going to tell everybody about it. That is not how you do it. You pick a program. We pick a program. I help you pick which one's best for you. You pick a program and you draw a line in the sand and you say, this is it. I am going to get the best results for me. And you do this for you. You do it knowing that it's going to be what helps you launch and kickstart your business. But at the end of the day, you do this for yourself and you commit to showing up. You do the workouts every day that is on your schedule. You follow the meal plan to a T. That's where so many people fall short. They spend all this money, they buy their challenge packs, they get excited and they're like, yeah, I did the workouts. I'm like, well, how'd it go? And they're like, I didn't get the results I thought I would get. I'm like, really? That's crazy. And they're like, well, I didn't really follow the nutrition program. My friends, if you want to be a successful coach and you want to see your business just light up right out of the gate, you have to say that I'm going all in. So I need you to commit to doing a program. And I need you to make a decision that you are going to get the best results. Because what's going to happen is you are going to begin your sharing journey, meaning that you're going to share this journey on social media and you are going to be documenting what it looks like to go from being a new, client to somebody who's getting results and somebody who's going to cause other people to be inspired and motivated and just like want to be a part of your journey. That's what makes you a great coach. So that's what you do. You start by picking a program and you commit to sharing it on social media. Now, we run something called challenge groups. Challenge groups are the bread and butter of our business. This is how we help people get results, and this is how we as coaches stay accountable. I promise you that I would not be 5 years into a clean eating and health and fitness journey if it weren't for me having to show up on social media and be a coach. I promise you that. I feel obligated to be the best version of myself. And I don't know about you guys, but I feel like that's a pretty incredible job to have. So I'm super fortunate, and you could be just as fortunate to have a job that actually pays you to be healthy. So you would be in our challenge group because we believe that you have to become a challenger first. You have to be a client. You need to understand what it feels like to be a challenger because that's where you'll get your best results. That's how we run our business is through challenge groups. So we need you to be really good at being a challenger first. So our team does an approach called I do, we do, you do. So that means that in your first challenge group, I run it. I do all the work. I put you in it and I run the group. If you have people who want to join you, so maybe your friends, maybe your family, maybe someone on social media sees what you're doing and they say, I want in on that. We just add them to the group. You do not have to do any coaching in month 1. You just have to commit to showing up in the group. Month 2, we do an approach called We Do. So you and I, or you and another coach in my downline, depending on if you're personally sponsored or not, we do a group together. So you would help by checking in every day. You would help by commenting and engaging on other people's posts. And you would just basically be a light for the others in the group. Now, the third month, if you're comfortable, that's usually when my coaches start to get their wings and they fly. And that's whenever we do a you do. So you do the challenge groups alone at that point. Now, you're always welcome. You don't have to fly this way. Some of my coaches have been with me for several years and they're like, we just like being in your groups. And they run them with me. And that's okay too. So there's not a right or wrong way to do it. But I use an app. It's a Beachbody app and it's called My Challenge Tracker. So that will be where you would run your groups from. As far as content goes, you don't have to create it, so don't worry. I know that a lot of you have that fear of like, okay, I'm not a nutrition expert, I'm not a personal trainer, how am I going to run a challenge group? To be honest with you, I've been at this business so long now that I have so many challenge group scripts that you can have and you can use yourself. Beachbody also gives us a ton of resources in our back office that you can use. So you don't ever have to feel the pressure that you have to create content. That's what a lot of people fear. They're like, I don't know how to create content for these groups. Don't sweat that. We have it taken care of. Please remember, I was a former teacher, so I love planning. To me, planning out content for a challenge group is like lesson planning. So that's where I used to get my kicks and I really love it. So I wanted to do it. But if you are the kind of person who said, I don't want to do that piece, it really is already done for you. Okay. So I need you to commit to being a challenger first and always. And I need you to know that your journey is what's going to inspire people. It's not your size. It's not your measurements. It's not that you hit your goal weight. What's really, truly inspiring is when you can show somebody what it looks like to go on your journey. Okay. Some people say, I want to be a coach, but I don't think I should start until I get my results. And I actually want to shake them and be like, you're crazy. The best thing you can do for your business is to be on a journey and to show people, here's how you get to the destination. Okay. So please know that there's not a special size coach. Okay. You do not need to be a certain size, a certain age, none of it. It doesn't matter. You need to be on your journey to be inspiring. That's it. Okay, so can you just take that worry out of your head now that you have to look a certain way or be a certain way, because you do not. So we want you to work on being a challenger first. Now, when you are a challenger first, guess what starts to happen? You start to not have to feel like you're selling, because that's a fear. A lot of people have that fear. They come to me and they're like, I don't want to have to sell stuff to my friends on Facebook. And I say to them, I'm so glad, because I don't want you to feel like a salesperson either. Yes, this is a business that requires you to sell things. And yes, you do make commissions, which is how salespeople often make their money. You make 25% of all your sales. So yes, you are selling, but there's a big difference between flat up selling on social media versus sharing your journey and inspiring others and having others come along with you because they were drawn to your story as a coach in your journey. So what we'll be doing is teaching you exactly how to do that. Okay, so don't worry if you are coming to us and you have zero following. I was a mom who was a teacher. If you know anything about teachers, they often like to live their world in private. So I think I had maybe 50 friends on Instagram, 150 or 120 on Facebook, and I knew who they were. They were all people who were a part of my world. My settings were very private. The last thing I wanted to do was put myself out there because I was teaching high school. My worry was that I was going to have all these students following me. So I panicked when my coach said, you have to share your life on social media. I was like, I can't do that. But I learned how to do it in a way that was respectful to my profession as a teacher and tactful in the way that I did it. And I managed to do it for several years before my business took me to the place where I didn't have to actually be a teacher anymore. So I can help you with that. So if you're coming to me and you're like, I've got 100 followers and I'm not really big on social media, I don't really care about that, honestly. You do not need to have a large following. Yes, at this point in the game, I do have a really large following, especially on Instagram. That's where I primarily build my business from now. It's where I've seen a ton of success over the last few years, and it's where I'm actually going to teach you how to build your business. I know that some coaches are very prominent on Facebook and they still love using Facebook, but I'm going to be honest with you. I'm actually the coach who's going to really train you on how to do your business well on Instagram, because that's where I've had the best success. So I'll be teaching you how to share, how to grow your following, how to use Instagram stories so that you feel like you really are just sharing your life and you're inviting others to come along with you. Okay. In addition, you will have business trainings from me. And I think it's really cool because my background, as I told you guys, is in business education. So I spent the first 6 years of my career teaching high school students how to be better prepared for business. I taught classes like entrepreneurship, social media marketing, intro to business, marketing concepts, personal finance, you name it, I taught it. And guess what? After a while, I finally decided to get smart, and I took my knowledge that I had of business and I made a really successful business out of it. So yes, there are lots of coaches out there. I get it. But there are not lots of coaches out there who are former business teachers. So I feel like that's a strength that I bring to our team and that I would love to be able to gift you with and help you with. So I wanted to share that piece because I think it's important. So when you join, what would happen is you would be invited to join in on our team page. Our team page has weekly trainings, and in addition, we have a new coach training and social media trainings that you can be a part of. Beachbody gives you a whole plethora of trainings as well. So in the beginning, totally normal if you feel like you're in training overload, but it's all there, resources to help you be successful. I can't make you successful. You have to decide that you're going to make it in this business and that you're going to be a hard worker. So for those of you who are thinking that just because you sign up on my team, you're going to be a rock star coach, that's not the case. But you can learn the techniques and the tips to be a rock star coach if that's what you want to do. So what we would do from here is we would help you pick a challenge pack. You would pick your challenge pack. You would get started and you would get added into the challenge group and the team page. Some of you have asked questions like, do I have to sell? Is this expensive? Okay, these are two big questions. And is there a way to get a discount if I'm in the military? If you're in the military, if you're active military or your spouse is in the United States, yes, there is a military discount where you don't pay your business service fee each month. So some people have said, what is the business service fee? So the business service fee is, I think it's $15.95. It changes. Some states are like 16, but $15, $16 a month. And what that covers is it's customer service, it's inventory, it's a website. It's so that you don't have to be that person. You've probably all seen that person who works in direct sales and they have a closet full or a house full of stuff. And they're always trying to sell their stuff. Have you ever seen that? You're not going to be that person. I don't keep inventory on hand. I don't do the shipping. When you buy something, you buy it through my Beachbody website and Beachbody deals with it. They send it to you. If something's wrong, they return it, they send it back. If you have a customer service issue, they deal with it. Okay. So that's what that monthly business service fee is covering. Now, you're going to get a discount yourself on product. So you will receive 25% off anything that you purchase, which is awesome. But in addition, you also make that 25% commission. So say you sell a challenge pack, you would be receiving 25% of the cut. Now, as you get into the business, there is an opportunity for you to rank advance and capitalize on our team cycle bonuses. So you would be able to be receiving money aside from just making commissions. Okay, so that's once you're in the business a little bit longer, and I can explain that to you once you start. Just getting all this information is a little bit overwhelming in the beginning, so I don't want to overwhelm you, but I want you to understand that there are income opportunities and there's different ways to go about doing it. So some people have said, what are the selling requirements? Because other direct sales companies often will require them to sell a certain amount every month. There are no requirements. Like if you join as a coach tomorrow and you don't sell anything for a whole year, that's okay. No one's coming to cancel your coach account. As long as you pay your business service fee, you can be a coach as long as you want without having to sell anything. Now, once you rank advance, there is something called staying active. So to stay active, if you're just an Emerald coach, which is our first promotion, you have to have a personal volume, so a PV of 50 every month. Once you're a Diamond coach, you need a PV of 100 or more a month. And product, so certain products that we use are tied to PV. So for example, Shakeology is 90 PV. Beach bars are like close to 90 PV. Like there's different products that you can buy. So I really love to drink this Energize. It's my pre-workout and post-workout. That has PV. So everything that I already use as a coach has PV attached to it. So when I'm making my monthly purchases, not only is it keeping my business active, but then it helps me to be what they call a product of the product. So I can truly say, here's my journey, here's how I did it, and these are the products that I use to do it, so that it's really genuinely you being a product of the product. So that's something that we'll chat about. But again, no requirements to sell a certain amount every month. You can cancel your coach account at any time in the event that you feel like you don't want to do this anymore. A lot of people, when they come to me and they're just interested in the discount, so they'll come and they'll say, I got 30 pounds to lose. I know I want to drink Shakeology for a couple months. How can I save some money? The answer is to become a discount coach. So I have a lot of coaches in my downline who aren't working the business, but who are simply here because they want to save 25%. So all of those options are totally okay. So for those of you who are like, I don't know what I want to do with the business, know that that's an option too. All right, so from here, now is where you start to make a decision. Do I want to be a part of this? I hope the answer is yes. I am telling you, this is a sisterhood. It is a tribe like no other. I've never been a part of a community that's been so powerful, so kind, so uplifting, so motivating. These are class act people, and they are so fun to be around, and it's such a blessing. I am telling you, you will not regret the community that you get to become a part of. So I hope that you will consider it. I hope that you will consider coming into our world, letting us welcome you in and train you. And if you want to talk more about it, please reach out. You can send me an email. You can message me on Instagram. I'll leave that contact information in the bottom, but I would love to have you become a part of our team. I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this video, and I hope that I get to work with you soon. I hope you have a good night. See ya.